Yeah, oh, and I'm glad you mentioned it because one of our viewers, Corey, was saying, ask him about the book, and I thought maybe you promised him a book, and he said no, clarify that no, they're writing a book, so it is true. So you guys are writing a book. When is it due out? So I can.
It's around the corner. We don't have a specific date, but it's sooner than later.
Okay, hopefully before the end of the year.
So that you can pass it on, or we can come back and talk more about it.
On at the real MokenStef on Instagram, also MokenStef.com. They can look at. We are updating our website for the and they will be able to purchase it on our website.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Now the question I then have is, because you put all this sort of professionalism in dance, but I'm thinking, did you then think, okay, we're going to college, we'll get a job and then we'll just dance to the side, or what was the whole idea about actually trying to really take this dance seriously?
That is a good question. That's what we did. We were serious. I mean, we were laser focused on career, hobby, jobs. That's all we did. In fact, Kenya lived an awesome life. She was living that awesome college life, like a different world. She was living in the dorms on the campus. That's how, we hung out with.
That's where we hung out. Campus.
And then Stefanie, she was a college student, but she got to stay home. And then, and that's a good thing because we got to come to her house to eat those home cooked meals that her mom did. And then me, I did not go to college immediately after school. I went to work. So I was working a 9 to 5. I had my own place.
At 17, guys, listeners, at 17, she had her own place. This was a business woman. Her mother put her in a position at 17 years old and had her own place, and she was working a 9 to 5. That's why she was paying them more.
Through all of that, we and the girls had jobs too. Don't get it twisted. Going to college and having a part-time job. Yeah, responsible for getting our wardrobe together for it. As a dance team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were using our resources.
Yeah, like Mo said, I worked at a clothing store, so I would make sure that we looked really nice from the clothing store that I worked at. And also I was in college too, and I got so I wasn't just in college for hobby. I actually got a bachelor's of science degree in criminal justice. So I actually graduated with that. So just to let your listeners know, I mean, you really can do anything you put your mind to, because when you think about it, you're like, that is a lot of stuff this person was doing, because I really was working a job. Mm-hmm. I was committed to MokenStef, trying to, write our music, because we are songwriters as well. We wrote majority of our album except one song, which is a remake. And so we were doing that. And then and to be able to go to school and graduate and and going on tour, you gotta negotiate. It's about communication.
Yes.
You have to let your listeners know you got to communicate with your teachers. Like I communicated with my professors, and I told them, hey, I really want to go to school, college. I really want to graduate, but I am part of this group. I got them involved. I gave them like my promotional CDs, letting them know that I was school, because some of those teachers, they can care less. Just you better get a grade in my class. I don't care what you got. So I got them involved in my world, my teachers. And they respected it, which was great. And I was able to accomplish going on tour with the girls and being able to get a degree.
Wow. Same here. Hello. Oh, I'm sorry. I had to do the same thing Stefanie did. Talk to my teachers, get them involved. And I know you asked us like, what was our goal, starting off in the music industry. Of course, we was in school, earning a bachelor's degree. I had my bachelor's degree in communications, but my goal with dancing was just to be a dancer for MC Hammer, Janet Jackson, that was my goal at that point, in addition to graduating from school. So like Stefanie said, I would take my summers off, talk to my teachers. That's why it took me so long to graduate, but I did it. But I was working, I was touring, so I was living the world and finishing up school. So it's definitely possible, it's very possible.
And that goal,
I heard our song.
Going back to
I heard our song. I was going to say, I heard our song playing on the radio while still working a 9 to 5. Like that's how serious it was. I wasn't sure, because just because you hear a radio just behind the scenes, when you hear a song being played on a radio doesn't mean a check is necessarily being cut, or the check was big enough at that time for me to decide that I'm going to quit my 9 to 5 and, and I'm getting ready to go full time. I wasn't even ready. It took for us to seriously go on tour, promote our album, for me to communicate with my supervisor at the time that I could not hold on any longer. I had to go. So that was the decision that I made.
Yeah.
And like the goal, when you say about a goal, also going into the goal side, I knew I wanted to graduate from college. I knew, and I wanted to be a probation officer actually. And aside from, and I also wanted to tour the world with like the big artists, traveling all over, not being a MokenStef, not looking. So just to let your listeners know, we wasn't thinking about us being artists. I'm thinking about touring the world as a dancer, as being behind someone and maybe choreograph some dancers and other, to that level. That's what I looked at. We didn't see ourselves as MokenStef, the group, the recording group. But so that was really the goal. Like, hey, I'm gonna tour the world, and so that's where the videos come in at, where we did have some part of that because we did get to tour with AMG.
Yeah, I mean,
and
but when you
think about in our book too, you'll get the connection in our book, the journey of MokenStef in our book, Unfinished Business.
Yeah, but I'm thinking at that time, JJ Fad, were they people that you looked into and thought?
Oh, they were before us, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we love JJ Fad.
Oh yeah.
Yes, actually. We performed with them.
I performed with them before.
Okay. But then with the dancing stuff, because I know Hammer was probably, he had a big posse of dancers around him. But did you think about if we're making a living, who and where we could sort of, because dancing, it's not like as it is now where, people are making a lot of money for dancing and stuff. But back in those early days, I don't know. I mean, music is one thing, but dancing.
There was money there.
And right about that. And we talk about in the book, and it's so funny because you have to love what you're doing.
Yeah,
you really have to love your art and your craft and study it and be the best you can be at it and be passionate about it. Because if you're not, the money back then was not good at all.
Right.
Not good. So
it wouldn't have encouraged you to, so that was not, the
driving
of the motivation, right? It was not the motivation. It was dance was our motivation. In fact, we probably missed a couple of checks because we love dancing so much. That's how serious it was for us.
Once we started getting money, like Big Daddy Kane was like one of our biggest paychecks that we had got for dancing. We like, whoa, this is how it's supposed to be, from the makeup, the hair, the clothing, from everything. That Big Daddy Kane really showed us, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. How you're supposed to have a trailer and the dancers are getting makeup done, that whole thing. We got to really see that. It was our first time really seeing how that really works and how it's really a job where you get paid for.
And look at it, yeah.
So, I mean, when you think of that journey, because I think Big Daddy Kane being in the East Coast and you guys far west, I mean, how did that sort of connect?
Go ahead, sir.
Listeners probably know Fatima Robinson. She's a very famous dancer.
Oh, Fatima that did Remember the Time, and she did a lot of big stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. We talk about that. We talk about that also in our book. Remember the Time, Michael Jackson video. We was a part of that audition.
We went to the audition, yes. As dancers, see? We went to all the auditions, any kind of all call from the Fly Girls, when they were looking for that one Fly Girl, that member, remember? And then it was Jennifer Lopez that they chose to fill in the spot. We were at that audition. Exactly. We talk about that in our book.
So with the Fatima Robinson, she is the connection of us, because we all danced in the same circle. And so she was the connection of how we got connected with Big Daddy Kane, because yes, he's an East Coast artist and we are West Coast, but Daddy Kane would be in the West Coast all the time. We also did other things with him, like just personal. He's just an incredible man. But we talk about a funny story in our book about Big Daddy Kane. But yeah, Fatima Robinson is the link, just to answer your question.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.
I begin to